So today, chapter 2. Chapter 2 is very revelatory chapter. Means reveals a lot of spiritual knowledge. Oh, good. She's staying for class. Yes, so people who are raised in Judeo-Christian religious traditions have a very scant, small understanding of spiritual truth. And there is a deliberate reason for that, which I explain in my book, Divine or Demoniac. Which I explained, huh? Have you seen my book?
Yes, I see.
Divine or Demoniac? You saw? Okay. In this book, I give the actual history of Jesus and his followers and how it was, they were followers of the eternal religion, just like we are. And what happened to them. They were teaching basically the same thing that is presented in Bhagavad-gita. And the first, we could say, essential spiritual truth is revealed in this chapter, which is, we're not the body. We're a spiritual being who lives within the body. So remember from last chapter, Arjuna, he is complaining to Krishna, I don't want to kill all my relatives and friends out there. Why? Because he's thinking, they're my relatives and friends. We enjoy each other's company. We like to be together. In this chapter, Krishna says, you don't really kill anybody. Nobody dies. He says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all of these kings on the battlefield, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So this statement requires what's called a reframing of our understanding of life.
What is reframing?
I'll explain. Okay. We have a nice picture here on the wall, Jagannath.
Oh, frame.
It's got a frame. Okay. So many times, people, they like, oh, we'll put a different frame. And it changes how the picture looks. Big, wide frame, little short frame, like this. The frame is as much of the art as the picture. So reframing means that I have to see things in a different way. If we try to understand this statement of Krishna from our material perspective, we would say, well, wait a minute, Krishna, I was born, what year? What year were you born? 2014? 11. So you can say, I was born in 2011. But Krishna said, no, there was never a time when you did not exist. But you say, wait a minute, Krishna, I was born in 2011. And before that, I didn't exist. And my great-grandfather, he died 20 years ago. So, yes, we will cease to be. So if we try to understand Bhagavad-gita from our material frame of reference, Bhagavad-gita will not make any sense. We have to reframe our understanding or reinterpret our understanding of reality according to Krishna's statements in the Bhagavad-gita. This is a most essential point. Otherwise, we cannot understand. One time I saw one man, I was distributing Bhagavad-gita. I gave one to one man. I said, "Here, please, sir, please take this book. It has very basic spiritual truth." He said, "Oh yeah, I bought that book a long time ago." I said, I tried to read that book. I couldn't understand one word. So this is true. Bhagavad Gita is not something we learn like 2 + 2 = 4. It's not book learning. Rather, it is called revealed knowledge, which the Supreme Lord in our heart, understanding our desire and our mind, He will either reveal that understanding to us or not. So it's not, what do they say today? Oh yeah, they want equality of outcome, right? Have you heard of this?
Of what?
Equality of outcome.
Outcome.
Yeah, okay. Everybody, they say it's not fair. Life is not fair. Some people have more, some people have less. We want everybody to have the same, right?
Oh, like
You-
communism.
Yeah. So you should, why should somebody get more and somebody get less? So we want equality of outcome. Spiritual truth doesn't work like that. You don't get equality of outcome because why? Because most people in this world, by far the vast majority, they want illusion, not truth. And so Krishna says, okay, you want illusion? Here. So this is called Maya. You know Maya? Yeah, Maya. Maya's job is to give people the illusion that they want. We're all equal. Nobody's equal. But we want to think like that. Yes, women are equal to men. Men are, like this. Nobody's equal. Men are not equal. Women are not equal. Women and men are not equal. Nobody's equal. One of the illusions of life. So, revealed knowledge. So the first thing Krishna is revealing here is that we are not the body. And he also explains what spirit means. Spiritual energy. So there's basically two major divisions of energy, spiritual and material. I think we talked about this last time, right? Spiritual is conscious and personal. Material is dead and unconscious. I think about that. I put the wood in the fireplace, and wood is not complaining. It's burning up, but it doesn't complain. So, not conscious. And so, what is the nature of that spiritual energy? And Krishna explains that in text number 12, I think. Do you have Bhagavad-gita? You can take Bhagavad-gita. No, not 12, 15. Nope. 16. Chapter 2.
Oh, Jesus. This is the one.
Chapter 2, text number.
16?
16.
Yeah. No, wait, I have to find it.
What verse?
Chapter 2, Natvevaham Jatunatsam. You know that one? Natvevaham Jatunatsam Namam Ime Janari Pahai. Chaivana Bhavishyama Sarvaivayam Taparam. Um, maybe it's 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding it.
Yeah, not 100 Sam.
Okay, that was the one we just said. Now, what's the next one? The one I'm trying to think, the one I'm thinking of. Verse number 20. Number 20 is the one I'm thinking of. Najayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva abhita va nabuya jo nitya shasvatoyam parano nahanyate hanyamane sarire. 20. For the soul, there's never birth or death. So the spiritual energy is eternal. It's not born and it doesn't die. Nor, having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and prime evil, and is not killed when the body is killed. So this is more detail about the nature of the soul. And then 22 gives us information about reincarnation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So, we are eternal. We existed before the body. We will exist after the body. And we continue this change again and again and again. Then 23, more information about the spiritual energy. The soul cannot be cut into pieces or burned by fire, moistened by water, or withered by the wind. Now this is an important verse because some people have the idea that the spiritual energy it's all one, like a piece of paper, and you cut it up, and all these little pieces of paper, which were once the big piece of paper, they are, so if you taped them all together, right, you'd have the original paper. So they have this idea that there's one spiritual energy and it's all separated, cut up, and we're all little pieces of that spiritual energy. Not true. So we can't be cut in pieces. So we are not a piece of some other larger spiritual energy. Rather, we are eternally existing as individual spiritual beings. So these things, this nature of the soul, this is explained here in Bhagavad-gita, in chapter 2. And the next, so this is the first point of spiritual truth. One, I am not the body. And then the second significant aspect of spiritual truth comes up in text 247. You can turn there. Karmanye varikara ste ma paleshu karachana ma karma palahitu burma te sangostva karmani. Now, Krishna says, yes, you have a right to perform your duty, but you're not entitled to the results that you produce. Don't consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. In other words, they're not coming from your effort. So what does this mean? The consciousness of the living being under the influence of Maya has two aspects. One is I, and the other one is mine. Okay? I am the body, and not only am I the body, but I am the possessor of so many things. I have a house, I have a car, I have a bank balance. Maybe I have 2 houses, 3 houses. I have all of these things. I have a title, president, whatever. So I am not only the body, but I am the possessor of many things. This is the material consciousness. So right here in the beginning of Bhagavad-gita, Krishna is explaining that these two fundamental aspects of material consciousness are Maya. Got it? A very, very significant thing. Now, again, people coming from other spiritual traditions or even New Age. You familiar with New Age? No?
New cage.
New Age, yeah.
New cage.
Huh?
New cage.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before. That's good. New cage. And we also call that Mayavad. You know Mayavad?
No.
Mayavadi are the impersonalists. They think everything is one, right? It's all one. And we're all part of that one. And we're God, but we have forgotten that we're God. Like that. So, these other spiritual ideas, they have no actual understanding of what it means to be spirit. So Bhagavad-gita, right in the beginning, is establishing these fundamental principles that both what we are and what we are not. Right? We are the soul and we are not the things of this world. We have nothing to do, no connection with anything in this world, although we think that we do. So this is called the contents of the Gita summarized. It sets the stage for the rest of the book, explaining what's to come. And these are the ideas that are developed further in the Bhagavad-gita. Now, beyond this, then, in this chapter, Krishna is explaining what it means to be spiritual. So in 254, scroll up a little bit, or turn a little bit. Arjuna starts asking question, what's the nature of a person who's actually spiritual? Doesn't say it like that. He says whose consciousness is merged in transcendence. In other words, it means who is actually a real spiritual person, right?
Which verse?
54.
Second?
254. Yeah.
54. Initiative. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, I knew somebody once and they were talking about their friend and they say, oh, that person is really spiritual. What's that mean? Well, they're always talking about spiritual things, whatever they are. They got a library of spiritual things. So they listen to a lot of people that are doing channeling. You know channeling? No? Somebody makes their body available to disembodied entities, right? To come into their body and speak through them.
Canalizira.
What do you call it?
Yeah, canalizira.
Okay. Yeah. So there's so many of them. And so, this is taken to be spiritual. Or somebody who's dealing with ghosts, poltergeist. There's poltergeist, people are possessed by demons. They think that's spiritual. Ghosts are, this is spiritual because why? Because it's not the physical material. So, what does spiritual mean? What does it mean to be spiritual? And that's the question that Arjuna is asking here. If somebody is really spiritual, what are they like? What do they say? How do they sit? How do they walk? In other words, what are their characteristics? So let's look. Next sloka. 55. O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and his mind is satisfied in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. That's what it means to be spiritual. I'm in pure transcendental consciousness. That means my consciousness is above this world. It's not absorbed in worldly things. I'm not, usually people, all of their activities are focused on getting different kinds of sense gratification. Something nice to eat, sex, business, position, money, wealth, this, that. All the things of this world. That's what most people are doing. So the actual spiritual person is able to free themselves from all of these material desires and be aloof from them. Be free. Be free. He's not chasing after it, not looking for it, not desiring it, and not even pretending not to desire it. So, next sloka. One who is not disturbed in spite of the miseries of this world, or does not even become excited when there is happiness. We know people, they try to, if there's some bad thing that happens, okay, well, bad things happen. But if something nice happens, they get really excited. Oh, good, I won the lottery. Something nice happened. But the spiritual person, they don't become excited by good things. There's no good and bad. They're beyond that duality. He's free from attachment, fear, and anger. This is the person who is spiritual. So again, Bhagavad-gita is giving us this fundamental basics understanding of spiritual truth. What is spiritual? What is material? How the person who is actually spiritual, situated in transcendence, above. Transcendence means above the material. How are they behaving? What does it mean to be spiritual? So this knowledge is unique actually to Bhagavad-gita. You don't find this in the Quran and the Bible, New Old Testament, anywhere else. Seth speaks, he doesn't talk about that. Or these other channeling people. ETs, they don't talk about this. They don't know anything about it. So, what else? Oh yeah, I forgot. Right in the very beginning, one very, very important thing. Let's go to 2:9, I think it is. Nope. 2:12. Nope. Oh, wait. I haven't quoted from these slokas in a long time. Let me find it. Oh yeah, 7. Sorry. Text number 7. Arjuna, as we were talking about the last chapter, Arjuna is in distress because having to fight the battle. And so he finally comes to the point, he says, I'm not going to do it. Krishna tells him, you're speaking like a learned man, but you don't know what is actually wise. So Arjuna says in this verse 7, now I am confused about my duty, and I have lost all composure because of weakness. Now I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. I am your disciple and surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So this is a very, very important verse, because if we want to understand spiritual truth, we have to take a humble position that we are in spiritual ignorance, or we are in ignorance. Arjuna is saying, here, I'm in ignorance. I don't know what to do. Please tell me what to do. So this is very, very important principle. If we want to learn something, of course, we have to admit our ignorance. Otherwise, learning doesn't take place. So we have to make a space, right, for that knowledge to come in. So the disciple places himself as a fool at the feet of Guru. Please instruct me, tell me what to do. So this is, I should have covered this first. This is a very important verse because, of course, it comes at the beginning of the chapter. And then it allows, by saying this, Arjuna allows Krishna then to instruct him into spiritual truth. Okay, so we'll stop there for discussion.
Done.
Done?
Lady first.
How do you say questions? Better vote? Better vote?
First.
What is question?
Питание.
The word question, what is it?
Питание.
Питание. Question is питание.
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 In Russian, перевод.
Питание.
Someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday you asked me what is my routine here,
Uh-huh.
and after I thinking about it, and I think I need instruction for routine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I don't know that that's a question for this class, because we can certainly talk about it. One thing I might suggest, because we want this to be a spiritual community, is that you endeavor to, understand Bhagavad-gita and so on like that. But the fact that you come to class is, that's good. As far as your other activities throughout the day and so on, that's another discussion. Okay. Do you have a question related to class?
Before a few minutes, you tell that is routine in life is very important.
Again, I'm sorry?
Routine in life is very important.
Routine.
Routine.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And that is some of about this question, but I have another maybe. How can we be beyond of the duality?
Good question. How do we rise above duality? This question comes up in chapter 6 of Bhagavad-gita. I'll give you a sneak preview. And the answer to this question is to understand what is the source of duality. Where does duality come from? And this is, we may think that duality is inherent in this world because everywhere we look, there's duality. But let's see. Krishna explains in chapter 5 of Bhagavad-gita that he is the supreme enjoyer. Okay? So he's God. All of the energies, all of this material, spiritual energy, it's all coming from him. Okay? It emanates from him. Just like we have energy, right? Maybe you're an artist too and you paint. So that painting is your energy. Or whatever we do. This house, you built this house. So this house is a manifestation of your energy. Like that. So Krishna's energies are like this. And because they're coming from, you built this house. It's your energy. Therefore, you're the rightful owner, enjoyer of this house. If somebody else, the neighbor comes down the street, he says, oh, thank you very much. Nice house. You'll say, go away. Right? So like that. So Krishna's, their energies are his, so he's the rightful enjoyer of all the energies. Now, when we come into this world, we are, because we are from Krishna, we are expansion from Krishna, or part and parcel. We discussed that, part and parcel? Like the finger is part of the body, or part of the hand, right? So we are part of Krishna, so we have this inclination to also enjoy. Krishna is an enjoyer, so we also, right? But how much can we enjoy? Well, if we have feast, you sit down, you have one plate, maybe two, but after that the enjoyment turns to suffering. I can't eat it. You get indigestion. So our attempt to enjoy is very limited. But Krishna he's unlimited. He can enjoy everything. That's his nature. So when we try to take the place of Krishna, because we are limited, we have to select what we will enjoy and what we won't enjoy. I like this, but I don't like that. I like this girl, not those girls. I like that man, not that man. Right? I like this car, not that car. So what's that mean? Like and dislike. This is duality. Right? We create the duality by trying to take the place of Krishna as the enjoyer. Right? And let me give a contrast to that. The transcendentalist, we're just reading about the transcendentalist, one who is above the material energy. What is his consciousness? Is Krishna is the enjoyer, and not only is he the enjoyer of all this, he's the enjoyer of me. I am meant to give pleasure to Krishna also. Well, not to enjoy, not to take, if I come in this house and say, I want this house, you say, no, it's mine to enjoy. So we don't try to, the transcendentalist, he's recognizing everything belongs to Krishna. It's not mine to enjoy. So how does he see the world? He does not see it in terms of, I like this and I don't like that. This is good and that's bad. He doesn't see like that. He sees, oh, this is Krishna's, that's Krishna's, this is Krishna's, that's Krishna's. So there's no duality. He's not creating duality. So because he's not creating duality, he becomes free from duality. For this, in order to achieve this, one has to bring the mind under control. It is actually the mind that creates the duality. Okay? That's another long discussion, but that's the short version. So the transcendentalist, he's free from duality because he sees everything in relationship to Krishna. Others who are in material consciousness covered by Maya, they see the world in terms of their enjoyment. I like this, I don't like that. They create the duality. So it's not a matter of just understanding that theoretically and therefore then we become free from duality. It's not that easy because we have conditioned nature and basically speaking we're under the influence of Maya. So we have to purify ourselves through the process of sadhana, and gradually we become free from that duality and become transcendental. So that's the whole idea of what we are doing. We are transcendentalists or want to be transcendentalists. We want to rise above that material energy. Is that okay?
If I am
Transcendental?
no duality,
Uh-huh.
when it's come keep some good things like this, and when it's come like bad things like this, always same, or because I see Prabhupada sometimes like this, and sometimes like this, and sometimes just something middle. What they in practical, how we react, I don't know.
If you study this, what made Prabhupada happy was to see Krishna consciousness being spread all over the world.
Yeah.
This is not material.
Okay.
His happiness was spiritual.
Because Purnachandra Goswami talk about this in one part of spiritual life. Devotee like this, like nothing about transcendental,
Faking it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not affected by anything material.
Yeah, like this. Скучно. На початку, it's not forbidden to smile or sometimes be like this.
Yeah. This is not transcendental. They call it fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Do you know this
Yeah.
saying?
Как се каже? Untouched. We must be untouched with the material world.
Uh-huh.
I think this is step for come to the transcendental world.
Yeah, this comes as a byproduct of our spiritual progress. Okay? Not to be affected by material things, right? You're saying. This is automatically achieved by sadhana practice. Okay. Sometimes say people, they think, okay, if I'm spiritual, I'm very renounced. Right? Renounced? Okay. Renounced means I'm not attached to anything material, right? And so it's not a matter to simply say, no, I won't have that. But in the heart, I want that, but I'll say no. Right? Real detachment is a byproduct. It comes automatically by the practice of sadhana. You do not have to make a special effort for that. It comes automatic. And not only that, but that is the test to see if we are actually making spiritual progress. If I do not see that in my character, then I'm doing something wrong. Because Krishna consciousness is a science. Science means if you do the experiment properly, you must get the proper result. In college chemistry class, we had to go in the laboratory and make some experiment, and our grade was depending on the result that we got. If you do the science properly, you get the proper result. So Krishna consciousness is a science like this. So if we follow it properly, we get that result. We see I become detached. I become free from duality. These things come automatically. If I do not see that, then why not? I'm making some mistake. There's something I'm doing wrong. And so we have to look and see to fix it. Good questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more?
Imaš ti koje?
Pa ja sam u dualnosti htio isto pitati, što si pitao. I also hear about duality question, but she asked. Ovo sadhana znaš je znači?
When I give lecture on chapter 6 of Bhagavad-gita, I explain this in much, much more detail.
In a time when we have duality,
Uh-huh.
what can I do?
Cry!
That's what I was going to say.
So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you do with it? I'm trying to think of an example. Is it how much of a problem is it? You know, most people, the duality, what's for them duality? I don't want to take a cold shower, I like a hot shower. You know, this is one duality. I mean, you know, simple. Or another one, some people don't like me. We want everybody to like us, but people, something wrong with them. They don't like me. This is another kind of duality. I mean, generally the way people deal with duality, they try to avoid the things that they don't like and get the things that they do like. This is what the whole world is doing, right? They're trying to avoid all the bad things. But because they don't understand the spiritual principles of this world, it's impossible. And then they say, why me? Why I have to suffer? Until we learn spiritual principles, we will suffer. That's simply the way it works. You can't avoid it. Cannot avoid it. You know, it's like, you know, you don't know how to drive and you get in a car and, you know, 12-year-old child gets in a car and tries to drive like his father. You know, of course, he doesn't know how it works. So he's going to have a problem. So everybody, you know, who doesn't understand spiritual principles, they're going to suffer in this material world and continue to suffer. They become their own worst enemy.
Sometimes I have lots of sad in my heart.
Sadness. Yeah. for the suffering of this world. For sadness in your heart from what?
Yeah. For this.
Yeah. Another place in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna, he says, those who are wise lament neither for the living or the dead. Lament means sorrow, sadness. Because why? Because they can see with spiritual vision. And when you see with spiritual vision, you see everything in this world is perfect. Perfect.
Beyond of this sadness is perfect. Yeah.
Right. But we see, this is Arjuna's problem, right? From last chapter, he's crying. Everybody's going to die here. It's sad, right? But Krishna says, you're crying for that which is not worthy of grief. No, it's not worth reading up for.
It's
So
hard to look at that. So many things.
because we don't have spiritual vision.
Yeah.
So from the material perspective, there's so many bad things. So many sad things. You know, like we hear, oh, some young child died, was killed in an accident. This is very tragic because, you know, his whole life was there. But from a spiritual perspective, the child didn't die. Again, we'll take another body. What's the problem? That seems cold. Oh, how can you think like that? You're so mean. Poor child. This is the difference between material consciousness and transcendental consciousness. So, yeah, we want to rise above. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, rise above this duality. And Bhagavad-gita is explaining how. So let's stop there. Okay? Unless you have something else. Okay, we'll stop there and continue Friday. We will be here Friday. You'll be here Friday. You go on Sunday. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki